So, I'm a writer and I kind of joined this QA test in June. I just want to kind of use it to like spice up, you know, something new. I developed interest earlier this year, and that's how I got here.
Welcome, Abigail. You're at the right
Thank you very
place.
much.
Yeah, I think we all develop interest at a point. That was my story too. So I was doing something totally different, and then I just started developing interest, and then I've not looked back since then. So welcome, nice to have you on the call.
Thank you
Okay,
very much.
yeah, you're welcome again. Yeah, so back to our topic. Okay, soft skills for QA professionals. I know you've learned a lot of things. You've learned a lot of technical things or the core things. You know what actually the practical skills you need to be a good QA professional. So today we just be maybe deviating a bit to look at some other aspects of maybe our professional lives that people don't really we don't really talk about or people don't really take into consideration, but that aspect is actually very equally very important, if not as equally as important as the core technical skills, but it carries a very huge weight, and those are soft skills. And today we'll just be focusing on maybe the ones that maybe pertains to what we're doing to QA people, you know, the soft skills that maybe they should have to just make their career growth a bit easy. Okay, so yeah, we start with this quote. It says that you can be a computer whiz kid, you could be a scientific genius, you could be a master in whatever you do, you could be a QA guru like our boss, Mr. Toby Fagbo. However, for you to be successful in any of these things that you're doing, that you need more than just the expertise. You need more than the core skills. Okay, you also need a soft skills for you to be like an all-round successful person in whatever skill or whatever area of career you choose to pursue. All right, so soft skills, what are they? I tried to, put some form of definition to it. So it says soft skills are a combination of people skills, or different behavioral traits, attitudes, those different things like habits that enable you interact effectively and harmoniously. And then I put there within your team or with your team. Now, I want you to just have at the back of your mind that whatever we'll be discussing here, like it's just based on, it's loosely, it hangs on the things you do as a team, how you function, how you operate within any given team or space that you find yourself. So that's why I put there in bracket within a team. So I'll go through the definition again. It says soft skills are a combination of people's skills, different behavioral traits, your attitudes, and all those different things that adds up to enable you interact effectively. I want you to take note of that word, interact effectively. And also, I'd like to encourage you to take notes. We'll probably be moving very fast in the class because we just have less than 30 minutes to go. So we'll be moving very fast. So I encourage you to take as much note as possible. Okay, so the core word here is to enable you interact effectively and also harmoniously within your team. Take note of those words, okay? Don't forget we're talking about soft skills. So for us to have soft skills, there should probably be hard skills, right? So what are hard skills? Like I tried to explain. So hard skills are like the core technical competencies that you need. Okay, it has to do with the occupation that you're doing. It's job specific. So for instance, within this training, you've learned a lot of things about testing itself. The core skills you need as a QA person. Those are like the hard skills. Okay, for this profession now as a QA, you need to know how to actually test, actually do the work. Okay, for a doctor, a core skill for a doctor, maybe for a surgeon would probably be how to actually carry out an operation. For a mechanic, it could be actually fixing the vehicle. So it has to do with the actual occupation All right. I said it's job specific. It's specific to that particular thing you're doing. So those are hard skills. Now we come over to soft skills. Like I said, that behavioral. Okay. It has to do with your attitude, with your character, with your habits, how you behave around a certain place. Okay. I mentioned something here. I said that core skill is universal. So to explain that a bit more, for hard skills, for instance, if you're let's as a QA person, for instance, you have the very core skills, or you could, write automation and stuff. Now, if you take that skill to somewhere like maybe like a hospital, right? You go into a medical ward or a lab or something where surgery is supposed to happen. Like that skills just sort of become somewhat irrelevant, right? In the sense that they can't really use it there, right? If you're a carpenter and then, excuse me, you're a carpenter and then you're thrown into maybe somewhere that you're supposed to fix a car, your carpentry skills, which is like your hard skill, those job-specific skills would not help you in that kind of scenario, okay? But for soft skills, you can actually move them around everywhere you find yourself. But if you're switching professions, like it goes with you, okay? You just don't do it, not just in your team or your work environment. There are skills that applies to everywhere and anywhere you find yourself in life. If you're a good person, if you have a good character, behaviorally you're good, that skill just goes with you everywhere. If you find yourself in the hospital, maybe you talk to people nicely, that skill comes in handy. You're in church, you're in the marketplace, there are skills that you can actually take anywhere. So it's behavioral, it's your character, it's your attitude, it's your disposition, it's the way people perceive you, it's the way you carry yourself, it's your charisma. It just has to do with, it's like a total packaging of yourself. It goes with you. You never drop it. You never lose your soft skills. Okay? Are we good so far?
Yes, we are.
Thank you very much. Okay, so why do you need soft skills? Okay, I say here that that our jobs and our daily lives involves a lot of interaction with people, with others. I bet there's no one here that maybe you've had a job and then on that job you don't interact with people. Even if you're working remotely, let's say you have a job and you're not talking to anybody, nobody's sending you emails, nobody's sending you any Slack messages, no email coming, no email going out. I doubt if anyone has a job like that. Anyone? I'll give you a gift if you've ever had any job like that. Okay, so that's why you need soft skills, because wherever you find yourself, whatever kind of role you're playing, whatever job you do, you always, have to interact with people, and you don't work in isolation. You have people around, you have people on your team. Okay, so you need these skills to be able to navigate, all those relationships around. And I also say that it's important for career progress. This is actually very important. Personally, I don't think I'll probably maybe have made as much progress that I think I've made in my career if I didn't have like good relational or good people skills. These things are actually very important. I'm sure you've been in situations where maybe you've heard they're talking about someone and they're like, this person is really, really good. Like he knows the job, but he just doesn't relate to other people. He doesn't know how to talk to people. He insults people. He does this, he does that. And to buttress this point of career growth, also, one other thing you should know is that one of the things that will really facilitate your growth in your career is recommendations. Okay? Whether you like it or not, there are instances where people are somewhere talking about you, let's say professionally, it could be like a job decision, a promotion decision, or just something. There are instances where people are discussing about you, and because you're not in that environment, you can't really maybe influence what is being said about it, but how you've been relating all this while are the variables they use in making decisions about you. Like me and Toby, for instance, when I was working in Lagos, like most times, like maybe they're opening in the office and I buzz him like, bro, what's up? I need like 3 persons, 3 QA persons in the office. Just send me your good guys. You know the kind of people I can work with. Just send me those kind of guys. And he will just make recommendation, maybe send me 3 CVs. And that's how people get interviews and that's how people get jobs, right? Because of he has worked with these people, he knows how they relate with others. He knows their attitude, their character, and he knows me. He knows like I'm a very playful person on my team that has to be fun. So if you're like a super angry person, he just knows it. He can send you to me. He can make that recommendation. And that's how life is, whether you like it or not. People will definitely have to recommend you in most instances for you to make growth in career. They find opening somewhere and they tell you about it and then you apply, and that's how you grow. So you need these skills. They are very, very important. Okay, I've been in instances where in situations in management meetings and they're trying to fill up a role internally, and then names come up, and then everyone just have to talk about how they feel about this person or what their mindset or their thoughts for these persons are, and they're like, you just hear someone say, the guy is okay, he's okay, but that guy, they sabi talk to person. They insult people anyhow, and just because of that simple comment, maybe someone says, and then another person is like, yeah, not true, it just affects in here. And that's how the person loses the position. So relationship, behavior, characters are very, very important. I also made another note here, and I call it the vibe story. So I've been in situations where I've worked in places where like you've done your interviews, you've done everything is fine, right? Like you're perfect for the job. You're just about to make an offer. But just one final step before you resume. They tell you, you know what, just come into the office sometime next week. We give you a day, come into the office, just come work with us one day, just blend with the team. Let's see how you vibe, let's see how you relate to people. I've seen it in Nigeria, I've seen it out here. And then as you're just in the office, they just, how you just vibe with people, they just check the ambience, the chemistry, and all that kind of thing. They're like, then when you leave, maybe the overall boss comes and asks, and like, what do you think about the guy? And like, the guy, I'm not just saying go blend with us. So, they relate to us, just the day, is this, is that, is that. And that's how the person loses. Like he was qualified, he passed the interview and every other thing. People want people they can relate to. They want people they can work with. Okay? So all these stories is just to buttress the point of how your character, your behavior, your habits, your attitudes, all this comes together to influence, the success or failure of your career. So I put something here that we should note, excuse me, and it says that you can be very a certified expert in your field, but you won't matter much if you just can't work with fellow persons or team members or people around you. You can't survive as an individual, isolated, and just doing your thing. You always need to interact and be around people. Okay, so all right, so let's go to the actual skills that I think that QA persons will need. Why I say it's an opinion alert, it's because for me, this is what I think, from my experience or what works for me or what I think are the soft skills that maybe QA professionals should have, okay? And I'm making like a countdown for those skills, all right? Just give me time, let me switch my slide. Okay, so for me, I'm making like a countdown. So for me, number 5 is interpersonal skills. So I want someone to maybe just unmute your mic and just tell me what you think interpersonal skills are. Everyone, anyone? Come on, guys.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay. It's just like, how you communicate with people around you. It's the
Mhm.
ability to be able to communicate well with someone, with people that around you. That's just the basic meaning.
Okay, thank you, Abigail. Someone else? Some other person was
Okay.
trying to.
Okay, it's the skills we use every day. Like it's a normal thing we do every day. We communicate and interact with people individually or in group. That's
Mhm.
it.
Thank you, Blessing. Some other person was trying to say something.
Yes, I'm trying. I was trying to say something. So, interpersonal skills is just like how you relate with people around you based on
Mhm.
communication, passing messages, and how you vibe around people around you.
Thank you, Manuel. So sorry, just before I continue, I'd like to say if you have any questions you would love to ask me, maybe on this topic or other related QA, topics, just put it as a comment. I think you can send direct, excuse me, you can send direct messages to me, or you could just put it as a comment, and then when we are done, if we have time, we just try to take some of them. Yeah. So everyone, like you will write, okay. It just basically like how you relate to people. It's basically your relationship with people. Do you have good relationships with people? Do you? How do people perceive you? Are you the type that if you're on the team, you're the type you just fight, you fight everybody, you fight your colleagues on the team? Do you respect people? I mean general respect, irrespective of their position, not the one you just give the boss alone and then treat every other person on the team as like they're nothing. Do you genuinely respect people? What kind of energy do you radiate? Like when you come around, how do people feel? What's the vibe that you carry? What's the carries? How do you carry yourself? How do you relate? How do you relate to people? Because one thing, as a QA person, you work a lot with different teams. You just don't work within the QA team, right? You build products for everybody and all the departments and all the units. So whether you like it or not, you have to interact with people. Okay, you have to interact both with technical people, with lay people, with business people, people from marketing. You just with business analysts. You interact with everyone. So this is very, very, it's a very, very important and necessary skill to have. Good interpersonal skills. Are people scared of you? If people have problems, are you like a go-to person that they can approach and, share freely? Or once there's a problem, let's say you're even a boss and then something goes wrong and nobody has the courage to, walk up to you and then talk to you about something. I think one of my former jobs, like I think one of my line managers were like that. Once something goes wrong on the team, everybody just shuts down. Nobody wants to go and meet, her to, talk to her about stuff. I was always like the scapegoat, to go face her and just tell all the woes and get all the bashing. Like it's not a good thing, right? People shouldn't be, people should be scared of you. People should be free with you on the team. People should be able to, if something goes wrong, they should be able to come to you and confide with you. All this tells like the kind of relationship and freedom and leverage that people have around you. Trust me, it's a good soft skill to have. You have to be approachable on the team. People should not be scared of you. If they have problems, they should be able to come meet you, whether within your team or from outside team. They should be able to meet you freely, without even thinking, be helpful. You understand? So relationship, interpersonal skills are just basically relationship. Build good relationship with people. Have good vibe. Have good, ambience, around people. It helps in your career. It helps in your career. Trust me, in a team, things will always go wrong. Something will always go south. Something will always crash. Someone will miss a bug and it gets into production. There will be chaos, but it shouldn't be the very one that everyone is scared of. Like, you know, I'm sure you guys get this point. Okay, that's number 5. So we go to number 4. I'm not sure I want to spend too much time on this one. Like, I'm sure everyone already understands what this means. So for just to maybe talk about it a little. So teamwork in a team, you know what we do as QA persons. In a QA team, most times you find yourself, if there's a feature or a project to be worked on, sometimes the features are being split. This person will work on this feature, this person will work on that menu, this person will work on that platform, this person is testing on Android, the other person is taking iOS. Just, you have to know how to work in a team. And one thing you should know on this point is that in the QA team, once something goes wrong, okay? Once something goes wrong, most times the company don't specifically say it's Toby that tested this thing, it's Abigail that tested this thing. They just say it's a QA team. True or true? Most times they don't do the individual.
Yes.
They just say for the QA team. Thank you. So you need to know how to work in a team. So if you're given a feature to work on, for instance, you should work with the mindset that if I don't do this thing well, it wouldn't just affect me, it will affect the whole team. You understand? Know that you're working in groups in terms of projects, you're a team member working on different feature, make sure that you deliver your own aspect of that job. Don't be the reason why in the team something was not being delivered. Try your best to always test your own feature, do a decent job, and just deliver your report, whatever you have to do. Don't be the weakest link on the team. If you have to put extra work, you have to put extra effort, to do a decent job, to just, retest something and just be sure that it's clean, it's smooth, it's fine, it's perfect. Just take your time, do it. But what you should watch out here for is that you should not be the weakest person on your link. Don't be the reason why the team collapsed. Don't be the reason why the team has a bad name. Always try to do a decent job, to clean your own aspect. And then try to help others. Let's say there are weak people on the team that cannot do something or they cannot get it right. Don't forget the aim here is for the team to have a good name. It's for the team to deliver a bespoke job. It's not like for personal glory per se. So you need to learn how to, work in teams. I'm sure like you guys already know about teamwork and all that. So I should probably not spend a lot of time on this. So that's our number 4. And then number 3. And number 3 is critical thinking. So I like to maybe throw questions, so just so we interact a bit. Like how do you think how do I phrase this? How important do you think critical thinking is as a skill for QA persons?
It's quite important, I think.
Okay.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I think for critical thinking, I think that's like a core skills too that we must have, because you need to think outside the box. You need to think even to where people don't, and then things people don't even expect that you think to. You have to be able to think so well, like so wide. So that's why I think it's important, very, very important.
Okay. For me, I think critical thinking is like you thinking like professional, not thinking like you can like normal thing. Everybody can normal do this one, but you thinking like this critical thinking is like I can do more than this. I can do more than this. So you think like a professional.
Okay, I was trying to think about that for a bit. Like, how do you think like a professional? Okay, but I get your point, Blessing. Thank you for your contribution. Okay, so for QA persons, critical thinking is one of the I think for me it's like one of the most viable soft skill that you should have. How I was trained as a QA person, my boss always told me to be a critic. To be a critic. In the sense that for QA, most times the job is not just to be sure that things are working properly, right? It's also to find where things are not working properly. Okay, while everyone is lushing over how glossy this UI looks and how this application is fine, and like your own, like, leave the beauty alone. Your own is to find what's wrong with this application. Okay, there's one example. I'm not sure it's an appropriate example, but one example my my boss used then, like that stuck in my head. You know, he said, even if you see a model or a fine girl walk, past here, and everybody you're like, wow, this girl is fine, this girl is fine. Take it upon yourself to find fault, like what's wrong with that girl? So find one fault, find one thing that's wrong with that girl. And that mindset just sort of goes with me, like wherever I'm testing, wherever I'm doing something, like if I don't find a fault in that thing, I'm not satisfied. You get, well, this only applies to projects, not like in general life. This is only in testing. So critical thinking is very important. Okay, be a critic. Be a critic. Be a person that, be the one to find fault in things. Forget about the beauty and the gloss. Go in. I'm sure you know how back end and then front end are. The front end will be fine, clean. Like this my slide, clean, everything is. But when you click something, is it responding? Is it doing what it's supposed to do? Find something. Think to the left when everybody is going right, going to the right direction. You think to the left. Think from the back. If they say this thing, like from staircase, like start from here, take step 1, step 3, and just keep going. You think of starting from the top and coming down. Do you get? Think like a thief. They say for you to catch a thief, you have to think like a thief. Think like a thief. Think like a hacker or something. Because that's the only way you can catch a thief. That's the only way you can find fault. Okay? If bad guys, if they pick up your phone, if they get into your application, let's say they're trying to steal your credits, they're trying to take money from you, loot your platform or something. Like if they come there, how would they think? What are the back ways that they can actually go about? I tell you, this is one of the things that really helped me grow very well, especially when I was working in e-commerce in Conga. At a point, I was working with the guys that were always like the guys that were, they called them, I can't remember the name, but our job was to do some kind of FBI kind of job on the platform and find faults, find the bad guys. How are these people hacking our systems? Because back then people used to, some guys who hack into the platform, credit their wallets, make orders, just steal from the platform, steal from the system. So our job was to find like, how are these guys thinking? How are they able to, think this way, able to do this thing successfully and get things delivered to them, without getting caught. So that's your job. Okay? Be a critic. Think like a thief. Is that point clear?
Yes, very.
Yes.
Thank you. That's number 3. So number 2 for me is time management. All right. This one is equally very, very, very important in the sense that everything you work on is time-based, right? And most times you find yourself, you're given just too many things to do, too many features to do. And of course, there's usually not enough time to get those things done. God bless you, you work on a team where all the estimates for sprints, planning, and everything that was done, like they never consider testing. Right? They don't think about testing. So the developers will use all the time in the world, develop, go back and forth, and then just 1 or 2 days to go, they dump an entire feature on you and expect it to do magic. So time management is very, very important. The word I wanted to catch from time management is the ability to prioritize. Okay, you need to check what's most important. The ability to know like which of these items adds the most value to this product, to this platform. Which one is more critical? Which one is it that if this thing should go wrong, it will cause the most problem, for instance? Okay, they'll give you maybe 10 issues, and one is that someone cannot log in, and the other one is that somebody cannot view maybe his profile page. Like in that instance, which one will you probably test first? Someone cannot log in, someone cannot view his profile page.
So I think you need to log
Oh,
in order to view your profile page. I don't know. I think so. Right.
So you prioritize testing the login aspect to that of um, the ability to view the profile page, right?
Yes.
Okay. Why did you choose to prioritize that?
Okay, because it's the basic steps, because for you to be able to view your profile page, you have to be able to log into your account.
Mhm. So it's actually more important, right? It's more
Yeah, it's
important.
more important because it's like it's most important in that scenario.
Mhm. And it probably adds much more value.
Yes, it
Okay.
does.
Yes. People's inability to log in is a bigger problem than people's inability to view their profile page. Of course, there are 1,001 other things to do on the platform, but before you can do that 1,001 things, the entry
You
point
need
is
to
the
log
log.
in first.
So you look for the most important feature. Which feature adds the most value? You need to be able to think, of those features, and then based on the time, because whether you like it or not, there will always be backlogs. You would not be able to test everything, but you should know how to test everything that's important, everything that's critical, everything that has the most or adds the most value to your platform or to your feature. Okay, so when you're thinking of time management, think of prioritization. Is that clear?
Yes.
So that's number two. So number one for me, do you agree with this one? Do you guys think
Yes.
communication? Do you guys think communication is important in testing?
very
Yes,
important.
so much.
Why?
Yes.
Ability to
Why do you
communicate
think it's important
is
now
not
to
the right
communicate
factor.
as
It's very important actually for you to be able to express yourself easily to your teammate and them understanding, be it written or verbal communication is very important.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I like the way you put it, written, verbal, non-verbal. It's actually very, very important. I think for me, it's probably one, well, it's probably one of the most important skills we should have as a QA person. Okay. Ability to communicate intelligently. Okay. Be it verbal, like while you're talking, let's say in stand up, or you're trying to explain what happens, be it written, and there are also other non-verbal forms of communication, like body language, once something happened and you just go, like you don't die, kind of, you know, communication is very, very important. You need to, my watchword here is intelligently explain. Let's say you test something and you see that something is wrong. You need the ability to, explain exactly what happened, what you were trying to do, how you discovered the issue, or what expected, behavior is supposed to be. You need to be able to, pour out that, and express that to a third party for them to understand what the issue is. If not, you have problem as a QA person. You always have people coming to you, back and forth, messages coming back and forth, and then them asking, like, saying, explain, attach screenshots, send videos, just because they're not able to, understand what you were trying to explain. Another part that this is important, communication is important, is that as a QA person, you're like, you liaise, you're like that middleman between very technical people and maybe business people and lay people, right? You need to know how to, if you're talking to a developer, you need to know the correct technical terms to explain for that developer to understand where the issue is and what it should probably do to fix that issue. You need to explain to the business person, from the business perspective, how this issue maybe affects business and how we relate, in terms, in words that the person will understand. If you're talking to a business person and then you're talking about Kubernetes and how Java, your JavaScript is not doing one XYZ thingy, the business person probably will not understand. And then you also need to know how to communicate to the customer, which are like the lay people, which like the lowest person that they don't understand technical, they don't understand business, they just want like, this is not working for us. So you need to know how to put together all these communications, okay? In your daily life, one other thing you should learn how to do is to avoid offensive language, you know, like, because it finds a way to express itself even when you're in a formal or corporate environment. You understand? It just comes out unconsciously. And what that does also, it robs you of the choice of word, because when you're outside, you use maybe some of these very bad words so much that it forms the bulk of your vocabulary. So when you're in settings when you're not supposed to use those words, it becomes very difficult for you. You find yourself stammering or struggling to express yourself because the word you know how to use does not fit into this environment. You're talking to your boss. You can't use certain words, you know, that you use outside. So you have to improve your vocabulary, okay? Know how to express different things, your tone of voice, your body language. You know, as a QA person, you're actually very powerful. And you need to know how to, you know, communicate and express that power, you know, not in a way to insult or maybe run down other people, but still to convey what you're trying to, you know, explain. Is that understood? I
Yes.
think
Yes.
as I was talking about this, I'm supposed to be maybe mentioning like 1 or 2 ways how you can develop these things, but I think time is gone and really have to run. So just to recap, so we said number 5 is what? Interpersonal skills. Number 4 is teamwork. Then number 3, we have critical thinking. And number 2 is time management and communication. So for me, those are like the 5 core skills or soft skills that I think every QA person should have and develop to be a good QA person. So just to round all this up, you know, today we've talked about soft skills, and I know all through the training that you've learned a lot of the core or hard skills. Remember, we say hard skills are like the core and the technical skills you have to have. So I'm sure you've learned a lot of that in the training, and today we mentioned some soft skills. So a blend or a combination of these things together will actually make you a good and successful QA professionals. Okay. So do we have any questions? I did not get any question dropped here, so I assume everything I communicated very clearly and everything is understood. Or maybe no one understood anything.
Good.
All right, so everything is clear, right?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you very much for that confirmation. Yeah, I think so. That's where my presentation ends. Just in case, for any reason you have any reasons you would love to reach out to me, that's like a different ways you can reach me. You can send me an email or reach me on LinkedIn or reach me on Twitter. I promise I'll definitely respond. Twitter, I probably don't, you know how Twitter is, I probably, everything that it's not QA related, but you know, I can always respond to you there as well. So LinkedIn, email, those are like very good channels that I promise to respond and almost instantly. Okay. If you don't have any questions, thank you very much for sharing almost 1 hour of your life with me. All right, Mr. Fabu, I think I should stop
Thank you
sharing.
very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
All
you
right,
very
thank you,
much.
sir.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Thank
Thank you
you
very
so
much.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the
Thanks,
time.
thanks, thanks.
Thank you so much. Today was fun.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Toby, I can log out now, right? Or do you need me around?
Yeah. So I guess there are no questions. So you're free to log out then. So thank you so much, and we appreciate the time spent and knowledge shared.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good night, everyone.